Peter Pan. Once upon a time, in the busy city of London, there lived a family called Darling family. They had 3 children, a girl named Wendy Darling and her 2 younger brothers, John and Michael. They lived in a cozy house with their loving parents and their faithful dog, Nana. Every night, Wendy would tell her brothers magical and adventure stories about a place called Neverland, where children never grew up. One evening, Mr. and Mrs. Darling go to a party. Nana, the dog, had to look after the children. That night, as the children were drifting off to sleep, a boy named Peter Pan and his tiny fairy friend, Tinker Bell, flew into their bedroom. Peter had come to get back his shadow, which he had accidentally left behind on a previous visit. Wendy helped Peter attach his shadow back on, and to thank her, Peter invited Wendy, John, and Michael to come with him to Neverland. With a sprinkle of Tinker Bell's pixie dust and a happy thought, Peter Pan, Wendy, John, Michael, and Tinker Bell flew out of the bedroom window and soared high above the rooftops of London, guided by Peter Pan. The dog Nana was barking constantly, watching children flew out of the bedroom window. They traveled through the night sky, across oceans and mountains, until they finally reached the magical land of Neverland. Neverland was a place of wonder and adventure, filled with magical forests, sparkling small lakes, and mysterious caves. The children also met the Lost Boys, a group of children who, like Peter, never grew up. They also met mermaids, fairies, and even pirates. Amongst them all was the most dangerous pirate was Captain Hook. Captain Hook was Peter Pan's enemy, because when they were fighting, Peter Pan cut his arm, and a huge crocodile ate it. Along with his arm, it also swallowed his watch, and because of this, the crocodile would always make the tick-tock noise. And so the Captain Hook would always know if the crocodile was near from the noise. When looking around with his binoculars on the deck, Captain Hook spotted Peter Pan and his friends looking at him from the top of the hill. He immediately ordered the men to fire the cannons. It was very hard for the Peter Pan and his kids to get away from the campus, so Peter asks Tinker Bell to take the children to a safe hiding place. Tinker Bell has become very jealous in the meantime now that Peter gives much more time and attention to Wendy. So she wanted to keep her away from Peter Pan. With some made-up excuses, she left Wendy back on the hill and kept John and Michael at a safe place down at the beach. The Lost Boys who lived on the island saw Wendy from afar, and thinking that she was the enemy, they wounded her. At the same time, Peter Pan was fighting with Captain Hook, but seeing the crocodile that ate his arm sudden appearing, Captain Hook ran away in fear. Whilst Peter Pan was coming back, he saw Wendy lying on the rocks wounded, and he was very upset. And the Lost Boys were very sorry when they realized that the girl that they had wounded was Peter Pan's friend. Peter Pan was mad at Tinker Bell, and said her that he had left the kids in her care. Tinker Bell was also sorry, and realized that what she did to Wendy was wrong. The Lost Boys made a beautiful home for Wendy and her brothers. That night, all would sleep in the house underneath the trees, listening to Wendy's stories, and Peter Pan would guard in front of the house. One night, when Wendy started to tell the story of her family, Peter realized how much she and her brother misses their home. So, he told them that they could go back to home if they want to, but that he wants to stay. The next day, Captain Hook captured Wendy, John, Michael, and the Lost Boys. He planned to make them walk the plank and feed them to the crocodile that had once bitten off his hand. Peter Pan was sleeping at Treehouse, not knowing all that happened to the boys. Captain Hook saw him sleeping, but he could not open the door to Peter Pan's treehouse. So, he put the poison in the bottle he was carrying under the door, causing Peter Pan to sleep for hours. Peter Pan slept one whole day, and when he woke up, Tinker Bell entered and told him all that happened. But Peter Pan, with the help of Tinker Bell, came to their rescue just in time. An intense battle happened on the pirate ship, with Peter Pan and Captain Hook fighting bravely. With a smart move, Peter Pan forced Captain Hook to fall overboard, where the ticking crocodile excitedly waited for him. Captain Hook swam away in fear, and the pirates, defeated and frightened, ran away from the ship. With the pirates gone, Peter Pan and the children took control of the ship. Peter asked Tinker Bell to sprinkle the ship with pixie dust, and they all flew the ship back to London. Wendy, John, and Michael were happy to be home, but they knew they would always remember their adventures in Neverland. Back at their home in London, Peter Pan promised Wendy that he would return to visit, and with a final wave, he and Tinker Bell flew back to Neverland, where endless adventures were waiting for them. Wendy and her brothers grew up, but they never forgot the boy who never grew up, and the magical land where they had once flown and played. Thank you. Subscribe the channel and stay tuned for more interesting stories.